Hey everybody, this is Shawn Powell. Look, this is going to be something. I'm doing a webinar tomorrow, and in this webinar, I took some notes down, and I've really been thinking about what I'm going to say. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I've done webinars before, and Frank Collaborator was like, I hope y'all got some of these nuggets. This what I'm about to lay down is not the nuggets; it's the whole damn mountain. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that. And really, I want y'all to really take the time and listen to what I'm going to say. Okay. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about traffic hurricane right from the beginning, but what I'm going to talk about is universal, and this is the things that I've learned. Why is that important, y'all? It doesn't matter that I've only been in online business for a little over 2 years. Okay. What was important was that I was excited about a business and I applied action every day, nonstop, and I learned to make it work for me. And I'm still learning every day. When you can take somebody that's applying action every day, you can learn stuff, y'all, like you ain't never seen before. This is not theory. This is not things I'm reading up on and say, hey, no, this is me putting the gauntlet down and figuring it out. So with that being said, y'all, this is the things I'm going to cover in tomorrow's webinar. Me and Frank Collaborator's got a webinar tomorrow, okay? Number one, traffic hurricane. First of all, I've done rev shares before. I've made great money in that. I have never got the lead results I get here. Here is ridiculous, and it stays that way. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Something that'll help you using any business you have with traffic hurricane and really start to brand yourself. Okay. Number two, y'all, it's well managed. You can tell it by the way the pages pop up. If you watch my videos and the pages ain't popping up, don't worry. It's not this. That's my little boy killing the internet. He loves YouTube. And I was making a video yesterday, and he had two different devices at the same time watching YouTube. So don't think it's me. It is me. It's not the pages. Okay, just to let you know. I love that Pesa is literally built inside. To me, I think that's absolutely incredible. It tells me a lot right there, and it tells you a lot about Pesa too. Faraz Patel, the man, I can tell you, the man, in some degrees, I think he's saving this type of business. I know what he's meant for another rev share in the past. I know what he's meant. And not only that, y'all, if you've ever heard me say it before, the man has personally messaged me on Facebook. Here I was, I was pulling pretty good money, but I was not the biggest guy, in that rev share or anything that we're using, Pesa. And the very first question he asked me is, how's Pesa working for you? How's Pesa working for y'all at that rev share? And what can I do to make it better? Y'all, that's not normal for a CEO of a business like that to contact someone individually and ask what did they think. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, is how you treat a business. You treat it like it's a small business. And that's exactly what he's done. He's got my respect, not just for that question, but just for that being part of it and what he's done for this, for these businesses. No jumping through hoops to get started, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, there's a big one. People don't like sending in their information for this and that, things of that nature. And this is really nice that this is streamlined. If there's a day we've got to do something like that, y'all, it's just going to have to happen if it's going to have to happen one day. But understand they don't want this to be there. They want to streamline it. They want to make it just as easy for us to buy advertisement as anything. You understand what I'm saying? Now they got debit and credit card right now. Straight MasterCard and Visa cannot get no better than that. Cannot get better than that. It's simply, in simple terms, y'all, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. I need to write down debit and credit card. Okay, again, I left that out my notes. Okay, now with that being said, y'all, I want to go ahead and talk about a few tips. Is actually how I mentioned it, because I first started because I was talking about traffic hurricane, because that's what the webinar is going to be about. Most of y'all, I think, are going to be in Power Lead Systems that's watching the webinar. And some of y'all watching this may not be in Power Lead Systems, but I think a lot of you have heard of it or know what it's about. Landing pages, sales pages, autoresponder emails. This thing here allows you to basically professionalize any business that you're doing. Even if they got their own default landing pages and sales pages, things of that nature, this one allows you to become the backbone of that business. It makes you an authority in any business you get into. That, to me, is what Power Lead Systems is. That's the power of being able to brand yourself. Y'all, why is branding yourself so important? When I believe in a business, and I don't do anything that I don't, period. If I believe in a business and I'm opening my mouth and telling somebody what I think about it, that is the biggest cheerleader you will ever have, period. Okay? You want to know what you're missing? People join people. This page right here would be nothing but a bunch of zeros sitting right here. It's what I do in my business that makes the difference. And people join people. Okay? Now, how do I know this works, y'all? I'm going to give you two examples. In the world of Power Lead systems, every time I sponsor someone that goes gold, I tell them the importance of diamond, what diamond is. It's $147 one time. You make $100 every time somebody falls in your pay line. You make $25 if you sponsor somebody that gets paid $100. You know, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So 125 of it out of the 147 goes back to us. If I'm diamond and the person below me does not go diamond, it doesn't even matter. But the next 10 people down, they don't go diamond. The 11th one does, it bypasses them, goes to me. I'm next in line to get paid, you know, if it falls on my pay line that way. And then on top of that, every person's going to get an email letting them know they just lost $100. They'll continue to get these emails until they change that. Me telling them that has got me still almost 2 years later, about 2 months from being 2 years in Power Lead Systems. Almost 2 years later, and still better than 1 out of every 3 people I sponsor that goes diamond. That's just applying action and learning from something I'm doing. That's, to me, is common sense. Yet so many people don't do that. They want their gold members here. They're not going to say anything about diamond. And they're going to let these people, hopefully they go down the path and they find everything. And 3 months later, they say, oh, man, diamond's awesome. Shoot, man, I do diamond. And then they're assuming they're going to go down this path and figuring it out. Assumption is a huge percentage drop. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, y'all. A huge percentage drop. Tell them at day one, give them a little bit of guidance. People don't want a boss, but they do need to be managed, okay? These are common sense things I've learned, things that should be common sense for most people, yet they keep their mouth shut, okay? That's going to help you along. So that's why my ratio in diamond is potentially highest than anybody in Power Lead Systems. I can't say that for sure, but I do know I get a lot of diamonds in at the way I do it, okay? Now, with that being said, I still have better than a 1 out of every 3 active ratio inside of Traffic Hurricane. Every third person I sponsor goes active. And to be honest, give me a little bit of time and more than that's going to pop up, because some of these people that have already been signed up are going to go active too. And why is that working for me like that? Because as much as I love Power Lead Systems, a lot of people used it as a way to hide behind a funnel. They're going to get the landing page, sales page, autoresponder emails. They're going to hide behind the funnel. They're going to make $1 million, and nobody's even going to know who they are. And I'm going to tell you something, y'all. It doesn't work like that, okay? I'll be the very first one to tell you like that. When you take the person out of the business, it's going to suffer. And on top of that, I could be in a Facebook group, and this person beside me, I could have sponsored them, and they wouldn't even know it. Know what I'm saying? They have no clue. Don't be that person. Be the person that they're going to see, that really believe in what they're doing and loves that business. You see what I'm saying? That's the big thing right now. Let's see. Now, I'll give you a good example, y'all. As much as I love Power Lead Systems, if the next 3 weeks Power Lead Systems is down, I'm still going to make money. I'm still going to build my businesses. How do I know that? Because if I'm doing YouTube and people get to hear me directly, I'm already saying everything that needs to be said inside that funnel. What does that do? If my funnel's weak, if my funnel sucks, if I don't even have a funnel, like I said, if they were down for 3 weeks or a month or whatever crazy thing happened, and all I got is just a sign-up page right here, nothing but just a plain old fill out your information. Somebody watches 2 or 3 of my videos and they hear what I'm about, they're still going to hit that. You understand what I'm saying? That's because I'm not hiding behind the funnel. People learn that I'm the real deal. I believe in this business, that I'm applying action and I'm learning from everything I do. And I'm going to get up here and I'm going to tell people what I think. And then I'm going to be in the Facebook groups. I'm going to be accessible every day. That, to me, showing somebody that I believe in the business and that I'm excited about a business, and that, to me, as a sponsor and accessible, is more important than whether or not someone's made $200,000 sitting over here, or $500,000 or whatever. Yeah, it might be impressive, but I can tell you, I'd rather go with that sponsor that I just described than try to find somebody who's got all these 6 digits and I can't get in touch with them. That's just my own personal opinion, but I think most people probably agree with me. And PLS today, I still better have a 1:3 ratio. I have better than 1 in every 3 I sponsor goes live here. And another rev share, y'all. Traffic Hurricane, I had sponsored 140 active members. I had still sponsored less than 400 people total. What does that tell you? That people are getting me. They're connecting with me at a high ratio. Okay, it does not take 10,000 people to do what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? And it was life changing. I was making 13,000 a month, y'all. That ain't no joke. Okay, very short period of time. Let's see. People want to connect with you. Don't take the person out of the equation and hide behind a funnel. That's what I just covered. So we talked about that. Now I've got something really good at the end. I promise you. Learn while you go. Example is Exodus Elite, y'all. I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right? Here I am, someone used to making a crap load of leads on Facebook every day, 40, 60, I still average over 40 leads a day from Facebook cold leads, y'all. And these people get a chance to connect with me and get to friend me on my Facebook and join the business and see what I'm about, know that, and that's where a good deal of my signups are coming from right now. With that being said, y'all, Exodus Elite was $1,000 business. Okay, it's $1,000 coming to. What did I learn? Facebook groups are looking for free or cheap. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that. Now they would love to see this page right here where I've just made a crap load of money, but as soon as they see that price tag, they're gone. Pew, gone. Okay. It's because that's the mindset of most of Facebook itself. I did. Let me put it this way. I got over 100 leads, 200 leads, and not one person converted or even sent me a message to my email. There was nothing wrong with my funnel itself. What was the problem? It had no front end. It had nothing else. It was just me promoting Exodus Elite directly. Well, if I'm doing something like that and I'm hitting my head against a wall, it's time to do something different. So I learned 2 things. I'm going to call it plan A and plan B. Number 1 is these people need to connect with me at $1,000 level. They want to know what I think, who I am I going to be around, am I accessible, things like that, right? Number 2, make sure your phone is available. Why do I say that? Because these people want to talk to you. If they are calling you, they are on the fence, okay? And what are they looking for? Someone that believes in their business. They want to know if you're real, to be honest. A lot of people call us, just want to know if you're real, man. I believe that. And number 3, they want to make sure you're accessible, all right? So what did I learn? That in the world of Facebook, and sometimes depending on your business, especially at the price range, it can affect where you need to get out to people and how you need to get out to people. Now, what was the difference? I went from, let's say, 60 leads a day, to be honest, somewhere about 60 leads a day to 9 leads a day using YouTube. Now, as much as that sounds weird, those 9 leads a day wound up making me a good deal of money. Why? Because they connected with me. So what did I learn? I learned as I went. I learned by applying action. This isn't theory. This isn't something I've learned by, reading something that somebody said. No, I learned that on my own. Now, what I've got something valuable I can teach people in that process. Now, secondly, plan B. If you got a high end business like this, just like you've heard before, and you want to have a front end business and that's going to be cheap or free, and then maybe have Power Lead Systems in the middle, and then have Exodus Elite sitting here, you got something. You know what I'm saying? You've got something then, because Power Lead Systems, the front end business is going to get the foot in the door. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Yellow Brick Road, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is a beast of a business. It's very professional. People are going to be impressed. Mark Crosby knocked it out of the park doing the videos. And the Facebook group, y'all, is a great Facebook group. All right, they put everything together that they need to make this work there. With that being said, the front end business sucked. Okay, it did its job in some ways because of the fact that it gives you the ability to, get the foot in the door. But the ratio, I think I had 2 active members out of 40 I sponsored in that front end. I don't think they even really got the big picture. But I did get a lot of Power Elite system sales. I got Diamond sales, and I got a couple of Exus Elite sales from that. So that was my plan B. So what did I learn? Even with a high ratio, Rand, if you get them cold leads to connect with you, see that you're part of that, you posting in the Facebook group, things of that nature, they get to see their champion, their sponsor, being a guy that they want to be with in this business. Then it really starts to roll. So that really helped a lot. Okay, number 2. Let's see. Believe in the business, and you are not going to quit, y'all. This is going to be the mountain I was describing right here. Okay, I don't care what business it is. Let's just clean the slate right here. Okay, what business I'm doing don't even matter to me. The business you're doing is not as important as what you think of that business. All right, I have 9 of my friends saying, you know what, I just think much for that business. But you know what, for me, it's me. It's me, buddy. I could sleep, close my eyes, and talk about this business all day long on videos, all day long. I can make it a 2-hour webinar if I wanted to. And I talk a lot. But the whole point is that's the business you should be doing. It's a matter of what you think about that business. It's more important. Okay? So if you know you got a business you believe in, why is that important? Number 1, this is what's going to happen, y'all. There's going to be roadblocks. This is a computer business. Sometime or another, pay source, something stupid, the site goes down. Whatever you don't even know is going to happen, it's going to happen. When you don't believe in this business, what's going to happen is you're going to be the first ones out the door. Now, I've even come to the point that learned that roadblocks are not bad things because it clears out the real people that's in the business. It really does. You get to see them go, and you watch the leaders start talking crap, start throwing other things at those people, trying to say, oh, yeah, you know what? That was a bad mistake. I made $500,000, but that was a bad mistake. Let me show you this new thing here. You learn a lot by the leaders when roadblocks come in, too. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, y'all. You're going to learn a lot. And you learn a lot by leaders' integrity also when something like that happens. The crap hits the fan, you learn a lot, okay? Now, what changed my life is going to be this right here, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I was excited about a business. I couldn't even sleep. I've said this several times, and it wasn't even that good of a business, to be honest. But it opened my eyes. I think God was really behind me every step of the way at this point. I didn't realize that I was stuck in a job. I didn't realize that I had no way out. And next thing you know, here I was starting to have ideas. I was laying in bed. I had to get up. I had to go, what if it works like this? I got to try it. I got to figure it out. I was writing notes down, laying beside the bed, still working 60 hours a week in a restaurant. I had to go find out, and it was that burn inside of me, that in my stomach, that just pure grit my teeth. I wasn't going to let go. I knew I wasn't going to let go. God gave me one ability that I think is absolutely incredible. Is the fact that when I'm passionate about something, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And I love to figure things out. And that was one of God's, biggest things. So to me, I found a business I believed in. I jumped into it. I was going crazy. One night, one of the guys in the creator of the business, his name is Tim Chisanis. I'm going to say his name because I owe him a lot of credit for this. A couple of text messages. I text Tim saying, man, I tell you what, I'm working my tail off in this business, blah, blah, blah. And I really wasn't even on the leaderboard yet, but I was making money. I was only getting about 8 leads. I think 10 leads was the most I'd ever gotten one day. And I know a lot of y'all can relate to this stage right here, right? But I was so one-on-one with these people and so believed in it that I was already on the leaderboard from even these low numbers because my high ratio, I had such a huge ratio that people going active, you know what I'm saying, and doing what I was doing. If they feed off of you, y'all, I'm going to tell you, people will follow you, and if they don't even know what you're doing, if they see that you believe in something, they'll go there just because you believe in it. So that's why it's so important. But I told Tim Chisanis, and Tim told me some very important advice, and it changed everything, literally starting the next day. He said, Shawn, this is what you need to do. I want you to focus at one way of getting out to people. I'll just focus. I want you to master one way of getting out to people. And see, that's all I had to hear. If I believe in the business and I'm being sincere to people, and if I knew I wasn't going to quit and I knew I was going to apply action, I did from day one. Then me focusing that one direction is the one thing I was missing. I was trying to figure out how to do email marketing. I had never done solo ads, something I had to look into. Facebook, something I never really knew. People were telling me not to do Facebook. There was YouTube I had to learn. I mean, there's so many different avenues and directions that I was trying to do a little bit at. And what was happening was I was sitting in one place, and all my excitement and enthusiasm was in a small area. It wasn't getting out to anywhere really. And a lot of y'all are in that same area and you get burnt out. I know you do, y'all. I know you get burnt out sitting there. Let me get you a different picture. How about that? Is that a prettier picture? Or this one? No, this one. Well, they all look kind of ugly. We'll go with this one. We'll go with this one. There I am. But I understood what he was saying. I needed to focus at one way of getting out to people and master that one way, and quit trying to figure out 5 different things. And a lot of y'all get burnt out by going in all these different directions. And even if you do have that excitement, even that burn in your stomach like I had over a business, it starts to dwindle away real quick when you're not focused. And that's exactly what happened. Or what hadn't happened to me, but he caught me before it did, because that's probably what would have happened. I would have been mediocre at best. Once I focused in one direction, I decided that nobody seemed to like Facebook. I understood something about it. This is just common sense to me. I'm getting seen. I need to learn to stand out in these groups. I'll do whatever I got to do to throw it out there to figure that out. And that's exactly what I did. I looked at a different perspective. And now I need to figure out, what is Facebook going to allow me to do without putting me in Facebook jail. I didn't know. To be honest, I heard people talking about Facebook jail, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even understand what Facebook jail was really. So that was my objective. I had a different perspective. Not only was I getting out to people, I knew I was getting seen. I needed to stand out. And that's what I focused my attention at. I remember the very first day I got over 35 leads in one day. I felt like I was there. I was like, good gracious, this changes everything. And what it was like, it's like winning your first race. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like. And so I was like, that's absolutely incredible. So I learned that was going to be the attention getter. I needed to stay focused in one direction. And what I also learned was I only needed 3 or 4 good ads. And so I was looking at exactly what I needed to make those 3 or 4 good personal ads, what they can connect with me, or show credibility, or whatever I needed to do. And once you got those 3 or 4 ads, y'all, if an ad worked a year ago, it'll still work now. You'll be surprised. So you really just got to get your little arsenal put together and do whatever it does for that to work together to make that happen for you. And understand you're getting seen. That's really the biggest thing I learned. But that changed my life. I went from maybe 10th, 9th, 8th on the leaderboard to number 1, and usually at times double in second place on the leaderboard in that business. And I stayed that way from there on out to the last day I was there. Okay. Now, taking that, running into another rev share, I wanted to focus at using YouTube because I was a one-trick pony. And that's exactly what I was. I only knew how to do Facebook. So I decided to focus at YouTube. And that's what happened. I did the same thing. What I learned, the same answer. Sincerity is the answer. You just got to tell people what you think about your business, what it would mean to you and your family, and show them the way in. It doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to, and as a matter of fact, perfect sometimes intimidates people, keeps them from wanting to apply action. So I learned that, in my opinion, that maybe that wasn't the answer. So when I did a video, I used my phone for the first, I think, 130 videos I did, and I just literally told people, and everything I said, you could tell it. I mean, I was on fire, man, and my eyes was probably glowing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much I love that business, and that's what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And before long, that numbers start going up. People really want to start to hear what you got to say. You stand out because no one really does that. No one really does it, and that's kind of how I did. Another thing Tim Chasanis told me is not to message him again until I made $500. I understood what he was saying. I was probably bugging him. No, but I think the biggest thing is he just wanted me to focus at what he just told me to do, and I did. I took it to heart. Y'all, that one, I don't know how many messages it was, maybe 2 messages total, changed everything for me. When I say that I owe my freedom to my little boy, what I've made in any of the businesses and anything I've done, a lot of that goes around what I'd figured out on my own, right? But I can tell you, if it weren't for Tim telling me that, it wouldn't have fit together. And you cannot say that God don't supply you what you need to know at times, because He does. I'll go ahead and tell you that. And that was one of those moments. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. Check my notes here. Make sure I can go to page 3. But I hope y'all understand. Find a business you believe in. Be sincere. You're not going to quit. No, you're not going to quit. Hit the roadblocks. Get over your roadblocks, whatever the roadblocks are. Focus it one way, getting out to people. Don't take yourself out of that business, and learn to master that one way. You do that, y'all, and people are going to acknowledge you for what you're doing. They want to join you. You're going to be an authority in the business. And you know what? It don't even matter what business I do right now. It's a matter of what I think about that business. Just like I said, it's a matter more important about what you think about that business than what anybody else is saying or anything else. So you put all that together and you stay focused, and you've got something. So anyhow, I didn't want to make this any longer, y'all. That's what my webinar is really going to be about tomorrow. So I'm going to have to speak about 3 times quicker, because I'm sharing it with a couple other people. So, but if you are not in Traffic Hurricane, y'all, here's the page. It's already timed out. I'm not going to do it again. You do want to go ahead and sign up. It is right here at this page. Traffic Hurricane. Make sure it says Shawn Powell as your sponsor. I shouldn't have any problem with that. Shawn 28341 is going to show as your sponsor as well. It's already hard coded with that page. If it kicks it out for whatever reason, then just make sure it says Shawn Powell spelled correctly. And go ahead and sign up. Get the big picture. Start earning. Do cash links. You got MasterCard, Visa, straight access, and go ahead and get you some ad packs. Ladies, bad boys, start turning over. Start getting 1,000 views. Last advice, y'all. If you really want to learn to brand yourself in a really free way of doing it on Traffic Hurricane, get Power Lead Systems. Start doing your own videos and put them inside of that, and let people hear you talk about your business like I kind of did just a few minutes ago. It's a long version, and it's going to stand out so much. And not only that, people are going to know who you are. You're looking at 1,000 views and 20 clicks on a banner of me sitting there talking about something that I believe in. That's glue at the yin yang between you and the other person watching, and that's exactly what you want. So if you want to learn an easy way, me and Shawn Lynch, both of us have really learned that's a great way to do that. So anyhow, y'all, click the link down below. Go ahead and get started. Friend me on Facebook, and I'll welcome you into the Facebook groups. Okay, appreciate it.